Hey everybody, John Huber here, Maryland Education Network, brought to you by Maryland K-12. Thank you for joining me today. Just a couple of quick follow-ups on some of the legislation that's going through the Maryland General Assembly. The big one, the one that I've been talking about, got a lot of interest on this one, is the Maryland Comprehensive Health Education Reform Bill or curriculum, whatever you want to call it. It has passed the Senate overwhelmingly. It has passed the House of Delegates, and it is in the Senate. It was a cross-file bill, which means that it has a lot of support on both sides, and this is probably coming. There are a lot of people who are opposed to it, and there's a lot of testimony against it. The Maryland State, it's called MABE, M-A-B-E, the Maryland Association of Boards of Education. They're opposed to it. They're opposed to it because they don't like legislatures getting their hands into what's taught and what's not taught. They don't like it. But the House doesn't care. The Senate doesn't care. They're going to pass this bill. I mean, they haven't yet. There's still a lot of testimonies coming up in a couple of days. So, I don't know. It's coming. Read it. Take a look at it. HB 119, and just look up HB 119 in Maryland, and you'll come across it. So it is well on its way. The interesting thing is a couple of the other pieces of legislation did not pass, and that is the thing about financial literacy and the thing about the requiring schools to teach financial literacy has been pretty much defeated, and the one requiring them to teach a unit on September 11th has pretty much been defeated. So you can see where the political agenda is going. Some of the things about protecting children. About the expanded definition of what of a person of authority over children. It used to be, teachers, counselors. Now they've really expanded it to mean, custodians and cafeteria workers, bus drivers, etc. That seems to be well on its way to being passed. The one about requiring tech companies, to have the child's best interest at heart, that sort of thing, that's going to pass. Or has passed. It's well on its way. Has a lot of support. The burden of proof. This is interesting, and I'm going to do a separate one on this. The burden of proof in special education due process hearings that passed, and it is really opposed by a lot of the. This is an interesting piece because there's a lot of. It's being opposed by the teachers. The teachers unions are dead set against it. The special ed lobby is dead set against it. But it's got some steam. It's coming through. What it does is it shifts the burden of proof from the person bringing the complaint, like the parent or guardian, to the school system, which is going to put a lot more stress on the school system. Currently, right now, I think it's like 95 or 98% of these due process hearings are always won by the school. This very well could change it. This has a huge impact in special education. So keep around, but it passed. So that's an interesting. The Accountability Act, where we're going to try and hold parents accountable, that did not go through. And it's and when I say these things haven't passed, doesn't mean they're dead, but it's highly unlikely that they're going to make it any further. That's an interesting one. That was an attempt to hold parents accountable for the behavior of their children. That's one of the things that I mentioned in the video. It sounds good, but is it really enforceable? I'm not so sure. So I kind of stand on the side on that one. The thing about the teacher rights, about protecting them when they're intervening in the fights, that's been sent to the Senate, and it awaits committee. It's kind of back in committee, so that still has a chance. And the one about making class sizes negotiable for the teachers union has also passed one house and is on their way. They have what's called, and I'm learning this too, I'm no expert on this, they have what's called crossover day, where bills are filed in one body of legislators, or either the House of Delegates or the Senate, and then they have to pass to the opposite chamber, and then they get voted on again and all that. So those are some of the things that are on their way. Some of the things are not. That healthcare curriculum, it's coming, folks. I don't know. I just can't imagine what's going to happen. And the interesting thing is, what's going to be interesting here is which version they're going to get a hold of, because the one in the House has been redacted and has been amended to remove the opportunity for parents to take their children, to opt their children out. It has been removed. So no choice there. It's coming whether you like it or not. So anyway, those are some of the updates. And if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks. Have a great day.